Hello everybody and welcome to this first look at, which is not really a first look at considering I have like 6 to 8 hours in the game, but I figured I'd do a YouTube video on it because this is one of the most promising games of the year. This is Mortal Shell, developed by Cold Symmetry and published by PlayStack London. This is a game that I received from them about a couple weeks ago at this point now. We played a little bit of it on stream, and then I continued to play it off stream because I actually couldn't stop playing it, and we have so many other things going on stream, I didn't have time for a full playthrough on the stream. But I wanted to give you guys over here on YouTube a chance to look at the game, because since I played it on stream the last time, I have gotten considerably farther, and my thoughts on the game have continued to change, because this game surprises me at every turn. What is Mortal Shell? Mortal Shell is a third-person, heavy combat-oriented, I guess you would call it a Souls-like. So it is a game that is designed kind of in the same framework that the Dark Souls franchise is made in, where it's brutal combat, difficult bosses, clunky, like, controls that are not designed to be clunky, but they're molasses-like feel, where it's like every action you do, if you go into that action knowing that there's a consequence if you mess it up. And so, not particularly clunky as in bad, but clunky as in, like, I don't know, it's hard to describe. It's hard to describe without the controller in your hand, but I'm going to be playing from the beginning on a new save file. You see here I got my stream file, which is 2.5 hours, and then we started over on stream, and I got another 5.5 hours from that point on. And yeah, we're gonna jump into a new file, and I'm probably gonna play about a half hour of the game just to showcase exactly what it is. I don't want to show too much because I know some of you guys might be into this type of game, and you might be into, might be going to pick it up. It is available on Epic Game Store, so if you're not a fan of Epic Game Store, if you're one of those people, rip you. Beyond the grip of the familiar, a threshold demands to be crossed. The mortal shells yearn for meaning, awaiting the Jesus. So if you're not an Epic Game Store person, which, you know, I'm an adult, I'm beyond that point. I'm not gonna use this video as a platform to discuss what I dislike or like about Epic Game Store. That's not what this video is about. What I will say is, if you want this game, that's where you can get it right now. It will not be on Steam until at least 2021. I believe it is probably a year of exclusivity, but for the quality of this game, I would recommend getting it. It is $30, $30, and considering I have about 8 hours into it, and I feel like I'm not even close to being done, and maybe I am close to being done, maybe I'm closer to being done than I actually thought I was, and I did start over, so you subtract 3 hours off of that. You could definitely get like 10 to 15 hours out of this game. You could definitely get 10 to 15 hours out of this game, and for $30 and the quality that the game is, given that this is the studio's first game, and it's only like 13 people who made it, you will see just how impressive it is and how much I'm excited to see their next game, with a little bit more time put into it, as it being their first offering. Maybe their second game will be a much deeper, more lengthy type of title. So here's the main mechanic that separates it from every other game. This is hardening. So hardening, James Harden as I call it, you can harden in the middle of combat. Oops. Oh, god dang it. You can see in the bottom left there, I'm trying to talk while this guy's attacking me. So I can just turn myself to stone in the middle of combat, and it's basically like a block. It's basically like a block. So, as long as that meter down there is full, I can just turn my dude to stone, and then the next hit I take is ignored. And then you wait for the charge bar down there to save up. Then you go over here and grab your sword. I really should have skipped the tutorial, because this is the tutorial of the game. I really should have if I was anticipating doing a video on it, and I don't even know if I'm going to grab the extra item that's in here. I'll let you guys discover where it is. Alright. Now you can harden while you're attacking, which is one of the coolest things ever. So if I attack and then harden, I'll finish my attack after I come out of it, so... Oh, I didn't have my bar full. Mistake number 1. And then you can see he'll hit me, and then I'll come out of Harden and attack him. And then they'll hit me, and then I'll finish my attack. It's really cool. Like, it might seem like a gimmick, but it is really cool. And I am going to try to defeat this guy. Because you actually can, in Dark Souls style, you can defeat the boss. The tutorial boss. And he is made to be very, very difficult. But you can actually beat this guy on the tutorial fight. I don't know if I will. Well, maybe. No. I'm definitely not going to win the fight here. You can see I'm doing some damage for sure. And if you're familiar with these types of games, you definitely know... Oh god. You definitely know the, what? Alright, whatever. You definitely understand the HUD. But you can see that the obviously the bottom left is my health and my stamina, as well as my harden, counter. / harden, meter, as it were. And now I'm going to be eaten by the windfish. I think that's what they're called. I think? Yeah, large bolts. See, I have those in my main file, and I've still never used it. I believe there's an item in the game that's like a crossbow, but I have not yet gotten it. And I've already beaten one of the main bosses. I believe there's 4 main bosses. Again, calling back the influence from the Dark Souls franchise. Every Dark Souls game has 4 major bosses. Now, granted, Dark Souls has like a ton of other bosses that are in the way, but I believe this one has 4 major bosses you have to tackle, with bosses in between. And now we're in Fulgrim, which is basically your tutorial section. And one of the things you will notice about this game is you are not just this naked man. Please stand up. Real Slim Shady, please stand up. You can see that my HP is obviously not very high. But you're not this naked alien boy the whole time. That is for sure. What am I... While we're crawling through this tunnel, before we get to the next major segment of the game, I will use this opportunity to explain one of my major criticisms of the game, and it's not even that massive of a criticism, considering it's a small team, first game. One of my major criticisms of the game is one of the most, like, influential... One of the most, I'm trying to think of the word. One of the most satisfying... we'll just use the word satisfying. One of the most satisfying parts about playing a Souls game, or any kind of Souls-like in the past, whether it's Lords of the Fallen, The Surge, or just your Dark Souls games, like Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, you go on and on, Sekiro, you go on and on. One of the most satisfying parts about that is the game's music. Whether it's the landscapes music, like the environmental music, like the chimes in the background, stuff like that, or the boss music. And one of the things I've noticed about Mortal Shell is it's usually very quiet. And like the sound design in the game is not wrong. Secrets? Don't forget that. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's the only one I found in the entire game. Apparently those are like this game's version is the secret walls, but I've only ever found that one. But yeah, here's the main mechanic of the game outside of hardening. This is the main... I mean, it's the name of the game. These are the mortal shells. You inhabit the bodies of long dead heroes. And there are multiple different ones. I believe there are 4. And each of them have their own stats, their own skill tree, their own combat, their own health bar, their own stamina bar, their own play style, if you were. And so this is the main guy. I believe his name is Haros. and I'll leave that for you guys to figure out exactly who he is in his past, because there is a little bit of lore, obviously. But this is Harros, and you can see my health bar is obviously not as big as it could be, and the stamina bar is pretty fine, and then there's those bars above the HP bar. That is our resolve bar. And what that does is it allows us to do special skills which we do not have access to quite yet. This is Fulgrim. Now, I'm not going to rush through this first area because I don't want to ruin or spoil a lot of it for you, but I just want to show maybe a 20-30 minute video. I just want to showcase some of the interesting parts of the game. I want to show you, I mean, here's some more lore areas. You can activate things around the game to give you insight into where important locations are. So up there, it's telling me up there is something that I definitely want to go up and get, right? And I get a glimpse of futility. So what that vision told me is, yo, dude, you want to go up by that torch. You want to go up to that tower thing, right? So we got to try and make our way to that tower. But before we do that, we're going to pick some mushrooms, because these welt caps are one of the most... they're pretty much your reliable healing in this game. This game does not have an Estus Flask. It does not have a reliable refilling healing item, and so immediately one of the most frustrating parts for me when I was playing the game, and I've learned to get over it, because there's a point in the game where healing is not as hard as it is when you first start, and that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say, because there is a point in the game where it's pretty easy to heal yourself with some mechanics in the game, and also, like, just you can get more of these at a certain point, but they regrow back, and they do heal you pretty slowly and for a lot, like a tiny amount, but yeah. And so now this is where it's like, hey, I know that tower. That's what that statue just told me to go get. So we're gonna go get that tower, but before we do that, we're gonna run over here. I'm gonna show off some actual combat with the mortal shell, or we're gonna walk into a bear trap. Either one. You'd say we got some, like, basic nerds here. Can you make the nerds walk into the bear traps? You absolutely can. You absolutely can let them walk into bear traps. Once you defeat one, you can actually scare the other guys. Now, I gotta get used to the fact that I'm not playing as the guy that I normally play as. It also seems a little bit loud. It might just be me, but it seems a little loud. I'm going to turn that down after this combat. It does seem a little touch loud, which I don't believe we had issues with on stream. It might not actually be loud, and I might just be losing my mind. Also, one of the better mechanics in the game is you can get a loot. Of which you can play. Really badly. But you can play the loot, and that enrages enemies nearby. So this guy's now mad at us. This guy, when you first start the game, this guy's going to be one of your worst nightmares. But he's kind of a pushover to me now. Those guys are going to be one of your worst nightmares when you first start the game. And they pissed me off a lot. But, oh my lord. But you get over them real quick. Especially once you get the combat down. Boy, when you get the combat down and you start feeling and flowing and recognizing your attack patterns and enemies, and once you unlock some of the stuff you can unlock, combat becomes a little bit more... I'm not gonna say easy. I will say easier, for sure. Oh my, we're gonna die. Which is actually probably a good thing. Because then I can showcase what happens when you do get KO'd. Because it's got a unique way of dealing with knocking your character out in this game. So we might actually just die on purpose to showcase what that is. Considering we're right at the start and it doesn't actually matter. Yeah, I'll show you exactly what happens when you get knocked out. When you get knocked on your Tootsie. Well, I'm gonna grab this first. Alright, hit me. So when you lose all your HP, you get knocked out of your shell, and you're now your alien bro again with very small health pool. And you must, well, you could die, like me, I could have probably done a better job of showing that off, but I got greedy and I tried to hit when I shouldn't have hit. But you get knocked out of your shell and you turn into your little alien bro. And, well, if you die completely, like if you die twice, think of Sekiro. If you die twice, you go back to your bonfire. Your bonfires are not necessarily these things because you can't interact with it, but that indicates a save point, like a checkpoint where you can respawn. The bonfires in the game are a completely different thing, which I will hopefully showcase by the end of the video, but now I gotta go back and get all my stuff. The mushrooms are almost regrown. They don't take a long time to regrow. I was very upset because I thought at first that was one of the only mushroom spots I had in the game. There's way more places you can get mushrooms. Like if you... It's boring. I'm not gonna deny that it's boring, because it is horribly boring. But if you... Oh my lord. If you do... Now you can see one of the other main mechanics of the game, and you can see how slow that heals you. It heals you like crap. It heals you so slowly. But, one of the main mechanics, another one of the main mechanics, I know I'm saying main mechanic for everything in the game so far, but another one of the main mechanics is familiarity of items. And I actually really love that mechanic. I want that in more games. So the more you use an item, like if I use a welt cap again, you can see my familiarity for that item goes up. The more you use it, the more it goes up. And when it reaches max familiarity, you actually get a new effect for that particular item. So if I maximize the ability, or my familiarity for the welt cap mushroom, not only will it heal me 30 for 30 seconds, 30 health over 30 seconds, but it'll actually, I believe it heals you just faster over that time, or faster over that 30 health. So instead of 30 over 30 seconds, I think it's like 30 over 10 seconds or something like that. So it's just an objective improvement. Now we gotta not die. Another thing about the game that I love is that there's only two attacks. There's a strong attack, and there's a strong attack. Oh boy, I can't show it off. There's a strong attack, your R2, and there's the RB, which is your light attack, similar to Dark Souls style, but there are different combos, fighting game style, that you can do. So if I light attack, strong attack, he grabs the freaking blade of his sword and hits him with the hilt. If I light attack, light attack, he finishes up, he hits a thrust and then finishes it up with a big, like, sideways slam. Like, he hits him with the side of the blade, which I think does a lot of damage. I'm pretty sure that does a lot of damage. I remember that combo. Then he's strong attack, light attack. It's the same finisher, but it's the thrust again, the strong attack, light attack, strong attack. It's got various combos that all have their own goodness. So I know my stuff is on the other side of the pond here, or the swamp. And I should be able to actually see it from here if I get a good look. No, I can't, because I think that stump is in the way. There is fall damage. Don't be surprised that there is fall damage in the game. Okay, there it is. You see the red dot back there. That's my bloodstain. If you think in Dark Souls terminology, that's my bloodstain. If you make it back to that before dying again, you get all your stuff back. And by stuff, I mean, the only thing you lose in this game is your souls, which are called tar. They're called tar in this game. So if I pick it up, you can see in the bottom right there, I got all 250 of my tar back, putting us back up to 558. I believe if I keep going this way, this is a chest, but it's also not something you interact with until, like, end game. Or not end game. I shouldn't say end game, because I'm not even in end game, but it's something you don't interact with for the early stages of the game, for sure. There's a specific thing you need to do before you can interact with them. And now you can actually hear, which is very cool, you can actually hear the first boss. You can actually hear the first boss growling and snarling and being all nasty. You can see me walking into the bear trap, because I can't help it. So in here is Big Boy. Big Boy. As you can see, there's another lore tablet back there. I'll let you guys discover what that is if you pick it up and play it yourself. But inside of here, this is the tower we were meant to go to. We can see the torch up there maybe, but this is the tower you're meant to go to. You can either enter this door, we can head up these stairs. It's all the same place. But this is actually where you encounter what I'm imagining is supposed to be your first bonfire, which is this lady, Sister Janessa. She functions as your bonfires. And in here, you can actually, we'll show you that after we activate Miss Janessa.
Pray, what wayward spirit beckons? I shall name you Foundling, and you may call me Sister Janessa. You're uninitiated in the Rafird's mysteries, I see. What a curiosity you are, wearing a man like a shell. You've awakened him, but you know nothing of him yet. Fetch me one of his mementos, and some tar too, and I'm sure we can stir up some recollections. Of course, first you must find his name.
Okay, so we'll sip the divine tar. And so now, one of the other big parts of the game, what I was talking about at the beginning, where each shell, each character, as it were, has its own name, has its own stat tree, has its own lore. Once you find Sister Janessa and you have a shell, you can talk to her and spend your tar to unlock each shell. And by unlocking him with 250 tar, Heros the Vassal is our first character.
The brigands pointed us toward the temple. Shunned by the devout, their allegiances lie to those who offer tar or spirits. They entertain themselves with drunken antics or violent cruelties. They know better than to attack us. But they followed us at a distance, hoping for scraps.
Hoping for scraps. And then here you just have all of these abilities you can do. Accretion of Foresight, gaining glimpses a chance to restore health. Accretion of Resolve, his cooldown is reduced by 25 on the Harden skill. Killing 2 enemies resets your Harden. All these different skills that affect just this specific character that I'm playing as. And to unlock those, not only do you have to use tar, which you get from killing enemies like souls in a Souls game, you use these glimpses. And you can use glimpse items to gain glimpse. You can see in the top right there, I now have 5 glimpse total. Never mind, I have 6 glimpse total. I'm dumb. Then I can use tar items, which are your soul items, as it were. And so you could use those tar and use those glimpses to gain additional abilities for your characters. One of the interesting things about the game is when you die or when you get knocked out of your shell and then die, whichever one comes first. I believe if you get knocked out of your shell, go back into your shell, and then get knocked out again, you just die for good. Now, there are mechanics later in the game that I'm sure change that, but for the start of the game, if you get one chance of getting knocked out. If you get knocked out of your shell and then get knocked out again, you're gone. And then here, these little instincts, similar to that sign that led us to this tower, you can interact with these, and these actually show you the region, the area at which you can unlock another shell. So it's all about recognizing your environments, and as you move through the environment, as you traverse through it, you gotta say, okay, we're gonna go to an area that has a bunch of bats hanging from a tree and gravestones. We're gonna move through that area and find a little swamp with mushrooms, and then we're gonna head right, and we should find that shell, which is laying on the ground there. Cool? Okay, and then you have to just visualize that as you move through the environment. Okay, here. We know where that is. We just were there. That's where the big boy was. That's where Big Boy was. And so through Big Boy, there's clearly another shell there. And then on this one, if you go through big obelisks and you find your way through the obelisks, you go to a big old tower, and in where those big obelisks are, those monoliths, as it were, you can find another shell. And that's where your shells, it tells you where your shells are. However, I am going to do one more... Yeah, I'm going to do one more light... It's not a spoiler, but one more light thing, because it's like basically the tutorial of the game. Yeah, here's the workbench. You can upgrade your weapons with certain items, and here, similar glimpses, you can actually see where weapons are. These lead you to where additional weapons are, because no, you don't get stuck with this stupid sword the whole time, even though I played with this basic starter sword the entire game that I've played so far. But you can actually find your way with these glimpses to find out. So he's going back over to that tower where the other shell was. So if you go back over that tower, clearly you can find this like hammer and sickle, dagger and sickle type deal. There's a big old sword here. And I believe this is just a giant mace here as well. And now we can go up to who I call Chimney Dad, one of the main characters in the game. This is basically your tutorial guy. And I'm only doing this so I can showcase to you this particular mechanic, which we're going to unlock right now. It's also super easy to walk past this, which I did, and I did not know this existed for my first 2 hours of playing. Because I'm an idiot and I did not listen to the tutorial. I did not listen to where the thing told me to go. Oh, don't worry, Chimney Dad, I got you. So this is Chimney Dad. And he gives us the Tarnished Seal, which is the parry mechanic of the game. I'm not going to read that. Doesn't matter. I can just show you guys. But this is Chimney Dad. You might think that this is all a little bit spoilery, but trust me, it is not. There is a lot more to this game. I'm not showing you any of the other shells. I'm not showing you any of the other weapons, which I do have in my main playthrough. I'm not showing you any major bosses. I'm just showing you the basics of the game, and the guy down here playing a lute. This guy is basically the end of the tutorial. Once you get the parry mechanic, I would consider the tutorial over. So I'm going to show you the tutorial, or show you the parry mechanic, because I think, oh dear, because I think it is a very, very important part of the game. Or I'll just get hit. Attack me. So you can parry and riposte. The parry does not take... Oh dear. The parry does not take resolve. The riposte, as you can see... It's still super loud in my ears, man. Holy crap. It's very similar to the death blow in Sekiro. Like, one of the things about Sekiro that I complained about was that the rest of the game's audio was very balanced, but the death blow sound effect was so loud. And that's the same here. So, before I do anything, you look above my health bar. Oh, no. You look above my health bar, and you can see that I have that yellow bar. That's my resolve. The resolve allows me to do those special effects. Or get hit in my face. So, if I choose to do the riposte, it'll take one of my resolve bars, and resolve builds up over time as you fight stuff, or you can use items to gain it back. But as you can see, as I hit enemies, I gain resolve back. As I hit enemies, I gain it back. So, you can see right there, my seal glue to tell me that I got back one bar of resolve, which I can now use to riposte. And another effect of the riposte is if you use it successfully, you heal. Or unsuccessfully. And now I will heal. And it's a considerable heal. That's one of the mechanics I was talking about earlier, where it's like, you don't really have to rely just on the mushrooms to heal. Although it is definitely, like, good. Now the question is, do I end the video trying to fight the big boy? I feel like I've shown enough, and I haven't even explored even the starting area yet to show you guys too much. I do have moonshine, right? Yeah. I'm gonna use the moonshine with the effects of my mushrooms still going on, because the moonshine takes health from me but gives me resolve bars. I'm also gonna equip this, but I'm just gonna use this. I believe that gives me stamina regen for 3 minutes, which is really good. And we'll end it by fighting this boy. I will spoil one thing real quick for you, and this is mostly to get you, the couple of you who might be playing this, out of your own heartache. You don't actually have to fight this guy to get the items. You can just run past him to get the items in it, the items behind him. Or you could die. So now I can showcase this mechanic. Which is, I got back in my shell, and now I'm at full HP and everything again, but I only get one chance again to defeat him. And this guy is not easy. This guy's not easy. For, like, your starter boss, this guy's very tough. Like, you should not fight this guy until you're upgraded. And I'm saying that as a person who did choose to fight him from the start of the game and got really salty. Who got really salty. Mostly because of that. Mostly because of that. That was almost a game ruiner for me. Was some of the attack patterns of the enemies were still able to hit you even though you were on the ground, and your guy's recovery animation takes so goddamn long to do. We might be able to defeat him. Oh, that was bad. Let's just use all our items. Let's go. I'm okay with this. Can we defeat this man? Can we beat tutorial boss without any upgrades? Oh my god. It's gonna be tough. We have no more healing items. It's gonna be tough. We also have no resolve. Oh, he did not show the attack that I thought he was doing. I thought he was going to do his lunge attack where he stabs into the ground. Very close, actually, for the first, for fighting him without any upgrades. But that's going to do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this look, this brief look at Mortal Shell, even though it was 34 minutes, way longer than I intended it to be. But, just show you the basic mechanics, showcase you so you can see we're respawning at Sister Janessa, show you the basic mechanics of the game, get you guys maybe interested, if this is the type of game that you're going to be into. Janessa, I'm talking to the chat.
It reveals the way of
I appreciate your flesh.
but perhaps
I don't want to sip your tar. You can clearly tell that I just died and don't have anything to belong to me. Anyway, She has a bear trap in front of her? What? Wait. Wait, what? That's new. Is that a bug? That has to be a bug. That is not there on any of my other playthroughs. Very strange. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that's gonna do it for Mortal Shell. If you guys are interested in this game, the link for the Epic Game Store... The link for the game to the Epic Game Store is going to be in the description below, hopefully, if I remember, of course. If I don't, just go to Epic Game Store and search Mortal Shell. And you can pick it up for yourself. It's 30 bucks, Epic Game Store. And I enjoy this game. I think this is going to be a very promising future for this dev team. Let me know what you think. And until the next time, of course, if you liked the video, hit the like button. You've been watching for 30 minutes. And if you enjoyed it so much, I would really appreciate your comments, thoughts on the game, thoughts on the future of the game, if you guys are interested in it, if you've picked it up, if you're playing it yourself, if you're watching other people play it. Just anything. Just always, comments are always the biggest part of a video for me. I love going down and reading what you guys have to say, but we'll see you guys next time. Catch you later.